All right, Glenn, thank you for that live report. One man's under arrest after an investigation into drug trafficking at a house on Bessemer Street in Springfield. The Hamden DA says his office's SAFE unit, along with federal law enforcement agencies, the Hamden County Sheriff's Department and state police, served 2 search warrants last month. During their searches, officers uncovered 15 kilos of cocaine, nearly 14,000 fentanyl pills, and half a kilo of raw fentanyl. About $190,000 in counterfeit U.S. currency was also found. Today, the DA's office says everything seized had an estimated street value of more than $2 million.
These pills are so dangerous because they are usually indistinguishable from the real medication that they might purport to be. In fact, even pharmacists cannot tell the difference, which is an aspect of our presentations. And what's most concerning is that it is impossible to know what's contained in them through any kind of visual inspection.
The DA went on to warn that many times these drugs are being bought through social media by kids who may believe they're taking something like Xanax or Adderall. 51-year-old Alonzo Williams was arrested on multiple drug charges. He was arraigned back on December 23rd and is currently being held on $75,000 cash bail.